Today's video is on derivatives of trigonometric functions. The learning goals are to calculate the derivatives of cosine and sine, and using the derivatives of cosine and sine, together with the quotient rule, find the derivatives of tan, cotan, cosecant, and secant. So we'll begin by finding the derivative of cosine, and we'll do this by using the definition, which I have written here. Okay, so I have to work with the right-hand side. And to do that, I'm going to use trig identity, which is found in Appendix F of the course notes, which is the following. Cosine of a sum, alpha plus beta, for example, is equal to cosine of alpha times the cosine of beta minus the sine of alpha times the sine of beta. And that's how I got from here to all of this. Okay. Next, I'm going to take out this common cosine term and rewrite all the terms with cosine like this. The reason being is I can evaluate this limit, which I'll do in a moment. Now I'll also take out this negative sign and rewrite this sine of h over h like this. Okay, now to evaluate this, you can refer to equation 15.2 in the notes. And you'll find that this equals 1, or sorry, this will equal 0. And you can see that as the limit as h goes to 0 of cosine of h, well, that will go towards 1. So the numerator is 1 minus 1, which is 0, over the denominator, which is also 0, but the numerator goes to 0 faster than the denominator. Okay, similarly, I can use the equation 15.1 in the notes to evaluate this. Now this turns out to be 1. So in all, this first part of the limit is equal to 0, and this is equal to 1. So all I'm left with is the negative of sine of x. So in total, the derivative of cosine is minus sine x. Now you can do something similar for the derivative of sine. Use the definition. You will use some identities, and you find that the derivative of sine is cosine. Okay, now that we have these derivatives, we can evaluate the derivatives of other trig functions. So, for example, the derivative of tan. Well, you recall that the derivative of tan, the tan function, is sine over cosine. And so when I find this derivative, I'm going to use the quotient rule. Well, that's just the derivative of the numerator times the denominator minus the derivative of the denominator times the numerator all over the denominator squared. Okay, so now we can evaluate the derivative of sine. That's just cosine. So you can see I have cosine squared up here minus the derivative of cosine, which is minus sine of x times sine. So you can see this will be times sine. We can group that to make it squared, and these two will cancel to give me cos squared plus sine squared. And this is all over cos squared. So now we can use another trig identity the most basic of them, which is cosine squared plus sine squared equals 1 over cos squared. Okay, we're almost done. This is, you could write it as 1 over cos x squared. Now 1 over cosine is just the secant of x, and this is all squared. So in total, the derivative of tan is equal to secant squared. Okay, and you could do this for the remaining functions. For example, the derivative of cosecant is just the derivative of 1 over sine. And just as we did before, you can use the quotient rule to find this derivative, which I'll let you do on your own.